Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Battlehawks Show featuring yours truly, Jordan, with the 314 Sports, St. Louis Sports. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, do whatever you got to do with it. Thank you all for who have subscribed and have stuck with me through the season. It is week 4. We are nearing our halfway point of the year. We have 8 teams, 10 weeks. As we found out 2 weeks ago, the championship will be held in St. Louis once again. Your St. Louis Battlehawks had a rough game again, this time against the Arlington Renegades, coming in to this game somewhat hot. I would say somewhat hot. They're playing good ball. The quarterback, Luis Perez, doing great. Getting into things, we had a major injury. The second play of the game, basically, the second attempt by this player. And if you're a Battlehawk fan, you already know who I'm talking about. We need to have the next man up mentality. And one of our best players was out again in week 4. We'll get into that right after this. Okay, here we go. Week 4 in the books. It was ouch kabibble. It really was. Final score, your St. Louis Battlehawks 15, Arlington Renegades 30. Now, you may seem like, wow, that was a blowout. Okay, no, it wasn't that bad. Our kicker, Blankenship, actually kind of kept us in the game, and our defense, again, kept us in the game. We are now 2-2. Arlington Renegades are a astounding 3-1. Blankenship, like I said, kind of kept us in the game. He had a field goal in the first, a field goal in the second. We had a pick 6 in the third, and then he had another field goal in the third, and we blanked in the fourth. They pooped on us in the first, scored 16. Our defense held them the second and third quarter, and then they pooped on us in the fourth quarter and scored 14. One of those was a fumble recovery. Okay, and this is a really upsetting play. Manny Wilkins, our starting quarterback, goes down, what appears to be possibly either an ankle or an Achilles injury. That's big for St. Louis. That's huge. That's bad. That's worrisome. I can name how many more words you want for it. He went down on a non-contact injury. He planted his back right foot and went forward and dropped. In the same time, he dropped the ball because he was in pain. He basically went to the ground, let go of the ball. The defense picked it up, ran it back for a touchdown. 6 points. Now, since nobody touched him and he went to the ground and the ball rolled away from him, technically, that's a fumble. Now, if somebody would have touched him as he was going down, and then he let go of the ball after he, it plays dead, injury timeout. St. Louis would still have had possession of the ball, just an injury timeout. And then they carted Manny off the field. Do not know the time frame, of course. Obviously, it just happened on Saturday, but when I find out, I'm sure we'll find out this week, and I will let you know on Thursday, that injury. On top of that, our star wide receiver, Hakeem Butler, was inactive for the 4th straight game, for the first 4 games. Now, for 2 weeks now, I have picked Butler to be my player of the game. if he's healthy. But of course, no. The next day after my podcast drops, Hakeem Butler out week 4 on the injury reserve list or inactive list. So that happened. The destruction of our O-line happened. Ja'Cour Pearson is a dud. What's going on with him? Is he injured? Or does he just not care what's going on? When he played for the Sea Dragons, he was the best wide receiver in the league, besides Hakeem Butler, our dude. Represent. Where is Butler? What injury? They never really came out and really said what injury it was or what's going on. I probably missed it. They probably have said it. I just missed it. Sorry, just my computer's getting a little hot. Because I had it flat. Anyway. And like I was saying, next man up, or back to Ja'Cour. What is he doing? He's getting the ball and then running around and then not getting yards and fumbling the ball and not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Like, this guy was supposed to be one of the most dangerous dudes in the league besides Butler, represent. Please come back. But what are we going to do now? Next man up, Mac Duggan. Has little experience, was drafted in the NFL, I believe, by the Chargers. He's a mobile quarterback, young kid, very little experience, and that's going to kill us. What are we going to do with this injury? Are we gonna bring somebody else in? I saw something about are we going to call AJ? No. Let me squash that right away. AJ will not come back. I highly doubt it. Actually, I'm telling you, he's not going to come back. Pardon me. He will not come back. He was let go, basically released because they wanted to go in a different direction. Obviously, you see that with Manny Wilkins and Mac Duggan. Mobile quarterbacks. Pardon me. I had it on silent. Anywho, and it is very interesting to see Duggan play. He looks nervous. He looks frazzled. He also doesn't have any time in the pocket. But when he did have time in the pocket, he didn't really check his peripherals. But the pocket collapsed hard and fast on him all game long. We'll go into stats. I'll tell you how many sacks they had. I think it's 5, 6. I don't know. But our defense is holding this team together because it could be worse. It really could be worse. Anyway, we've had a destruction of our O-line. I don't know what's going on with them. They look bad. Especially now with next man up. Now you really got to protect the young guy because this guy is a lot different. He's looking for guys. Nobody's open. Boom, sacked. I know he scrambles, but then, bro, there's times where you got to throw that ball away. Get it out of there. Instead of taking a sack minus 8 yards. Blankenship, our kicker, had a great game. He had a 55-yarder. He had another one that was another 50-yarder. That would have been good for 50 yards. Ex-NFL kicker. Got drafted in the league. He's a good kicker, man. He's got a bunch of fans. He's a good guy. Hope he watches this. If he does, shout out Blankenship. You the man. And it just looks like Duggan just doesn't have it. He had this throw downfield. He chucked it, and the announcer's like, oh, that was probably his easiest pick all year for number 22. It's like, thanks. It was his first Hail Mary throw, but even though it wasn't really a Hail Mary. But he chucked it up there, and it was well underthrown. If one of the linemen was trailing the receiver, he would have picked it off. It was so underthrown. I understand the guy's young. and he needs to get some reps in, but now he's the starter. And we got a home game coming up this week against the Panthers, who are looking pretty good. They're 3-1, I believe, too. We'll get into that. But yeah, we are in trouble. We were down 16-6 at half. It didn't look good. Like I said, 2 field goals in 2 quarters wasn't great. Let's see here. Let's get into some stats from the game. Like I said, the St. Louis Battlehawks lost this game 15-13. I wish it was 15-13 Battlehawks. 15-30. Let's go over it. Mac Duggan was the quarterback basically for the whole game. He went 8 for 17 for 78 yards. Ouch, kabibble. 2 interceptions. One of them was the easiest interception ever known to man, according to the announcer. And he had a QBR rating of 20. Completion percentage of 47%. Manny Wilkins was over 2 for no yards at all whatsoever. We went a total of, well, if you minus the yards from the interceptions, we just had total passing yards of 78 yards. And if you minus the yards from the 2 interceptions, we would only have 35 yards passing. Compared to the other side, Luis Perez, I'm probably saying that right, went 17 for 25, 149 yards, which isn't a lot. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, QBR rating of 80, 68% completion percentage. And, yeah, again, our defense held it down. They were dominant again. Let's get into rushing. Jacob Sayers was our leading rusher. Go figure. He's our starting running back. He was 20 attempts for 61 yards. No touchdowns on the ground. He averaged 3 yards a carry. Mac Duggan was our second rushing leader. 10 attempts for 42 yards, no touchdowns. Everybody else basically had 1 attempt. Blake Jackson, Gary Jennings, Howard, and Manny Wilkins. Manny Wilkins was 1 attempt for -4 yards with a fumble and out for the game and probably the season, especially if it's an Achilles. He just wanted to play, man. So our receivers had a total of 122 yards. Our rushers, we had a total of 122 yards on the ground with 37 attempts on the other side. Day Hunter, 8 attempts for 25 yards and a touchdown, mainly because it was in the red zone. Javonte Payton, 1 for 24, and he had a 24-yard run. And then Kalen Ballage, who is the second league leader in rushing, 9 attempts for 8 yards. Our defense held down, dude. We're just in trouble with our offense. We need a guy that can pass the ball, like in all reality, who we had in AJ. But yes, we did need that dual threat. But while doing that dual threat, we needed somebody who could chuck the ball, and Manny could do that. But now we're in deep doo-doo. They had a total of 73 yards with 22 rushes on the ground. So not that bad for our defense. Let's get into receiving. Frank Darby, 2 receptions, 26 yards. Everybody after this had 1 catch. All right. Gary Jennings had 9 targets, had 1 catch for 4 yards. What's up with that, bro? How you're not in trouble or benched after this game is beyond me. Frank Darby, 2 for 26, no touchdowns. Denzel Mims, 1 for 17. Jacob Sayers, 1 for 16. Ja'Cour Pearson's 1 for 10 and a fumble. Jake Sutherland, 1 for 4, and then 1 for 1 for Howard. We had 8 catches total for 78 yards in the air. On the other side, number 80, Sal Caliana, 3 for 35, no touchdowns. They had 1 touchdown through the air, and that was Javonte Payton. It was a 2-yard touchdown pass. Anyway, Seth Green, 1 for 24. Tyler Vaughn's 3 for 20. Everybody really 3 for 20 after that. Their starter, and Ballage. They had 17 attempts for 149 yards on the ground. The reason why they they got a bunch of these receiving yards was because of blown coverage, deep downfield passes that we blown coverage. Not great, not beautiful at all. But defense-wise, we did have a pick six. Willie Harvey, number 51, linebacker. Let's go. Touchdown. He had 3 solo tackles, and he had a total of 8 tackles total. But with that interception and that return, that was huge. That was huge. All right. We had a total of, I think, 1 interception. Yep. And then we had 2 sacks. I was close. They had 6 sacks and 2 interceptions. Then they had 9 tackle for losses, and we had 5. Yeah, they got to us. Our O-line pooped the bed this game. They really did. They really did. That's just what it is. Rodrigo Blankenship, 3 for 3, as long as a 55. He did great. He really did. He really did great. Blake Jackson did good with the kick returns. 2 returns for 65 yards. Not bad. He had a 40-yard, 1-yard run that if he would have just cut right really hard right there before he ran into that one guy and his own player, he might have taken it to the house. Ja'Cour Pearson, we're waiting. We're waiting for you to open up, dude. We're waiting for you to explode. Where are you at? I don't get it. I really don't. But yeah, looking into that was a rough game. That was a rough game. It really was. All right. Now looking at the standings for the XFL conference. Okay. Standings update. Let's get into this. Arlington Renegades, with the win over the Battlehawks, move up to first place in the XFL conference with a record of 3-1. They are they were 2-0 in the conference. I think they beat the Brahmas and now the Battlehawks. DC Defenders lose to the 0-3 Brahmas. The only undefeated team in the league lost to one of the 0-3 teams. The Brahmas put on a show against DC in DC. It was crazy. DC is now in second place, 3-1. Battlehawks, your St. Louis Battlehawks, my St. Louis Battlehawks, 2-2. We're in trouble. We won the first 2 games. We lost the second 2 games. The first 2 games were walks in the parks. Those games we should have won. The next 2 games were very winnable. We played like poo-poo. DC murdered us, and we did it to ourselves. And the Renegades murdered us, but we also did it to ourselves, and we also had a major injury. And in the USFL conference, the Birmingham Stallions are 3-1. They move up to first place. They are 2-0 in the conference. That's why they are in first place over the Michigan Panthers, who are also 3-1. But they are also 2-1 in the conference. I believe they lost to the Roughnecks. Or was it the Stallion? Yeah. But Michigan Panthers are in second, 3-1. Roughnecks are 1-3, and the Memphis Showboats are the only team remaining that are winless. They are 0-4 in the USFL Conference Division. Let me see any last notes here I got. Let's see here. I think I do have some audio. Oh, let's go into the power ranking. I do have a little bit of audio here from Anthony Beck on Easter Sunday after the basically the day after the game. Let's go over this real quick, and then we will wrap things up here. Sorry, it's not working.
Battlehawk Nation, just wanted to reach out and let you guys know happy Easter to you and your family. Really grateful for the best fans in the UFL that have our support week in and week out. Now, I know the product has not been great the last few weeks. I know there may be some discontent around the fan base and some really upset fans. I get it. I'm upset too. I promise you that. Our players are upset. Our coaches are upset. I promise you, though, the standard the day-to-day standard that we put on our players and our coaching staff to get it right is high. And all I know is we're coming home for 2 straight weeks, and we need you there. We need you rooting for our players. We need you to be loud like you always are, and I'm really grateful for that. And I just wanted to reach out and let you know we are at work, even today, to get it right for you. But I wanted to wish you all a happy Easter. We appreciate your support and continue to have our players' backs. I promise you they will show up, and when they do, things will look really good. Happy Easter. But I wanted to wish you all a happy Easter.
And that was Anthony Beck the day after the game on Easter. He wanted to let us know that they're upset too. And they know that we're in trouble without saying it. Week 4 scores. Let's go over these real quick in the UFL. Let's see if I got around the league here thing. I need to make one. Week 4 scores. Showboats lose to the Panthers 9-27. Battlehawks 15-30 against the Renegades. Birmingham Stallions win against the Houston Roughnecks 23-16. And the San Antonio Brahmas upset the DC Defenders 24-18 in a crazy game. League standings from all 8 people. Brought to you by All My Sons Moving and Storage. Week 4, basically power rankings. Birmingham 3-1, Arlington 3-1, DC 3-1, Michigan 3-1, St. Louis at 2-2. We are at number 5, and then you got San Antonio Brahmas after that huge win against DC, and then Houston and Memphis, of course, at 0-4. Ouch, kabibble. This is still a wide open season, but we are about to be at the halfway point, and things are going to start splitting off here, and we're going to start seeing what the season is going to be. Can St. Louis keep up a run? Not keep up a run. Can they keep up with the other teams and possibly get to the championship? Better yet, let's get to the playoffs first. All right. Let's just get to the playoffs. But we got a lot of work to do. So, with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining me. If you've made it this far, again, please join our YouTube if you already haven't. If you have, thank you. I appreciate everything you guys have done for us. But just by subscribing, it helps us out a lot with our network that we got going on here. So until Thursday with our Week 5 preview, I'm Jordan, and this was the Battlehawk Show.